Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending our skills development series, Intro to Google Suite. My name is Emma Wolodko. I'm the marketing officer for the Ukrainian Canadian Congress, Alberta Provincial Council, and I'm joined today by Rory Storm. He is the community officer at UCC Alberta with me. So just a bit of an overview of what will happen in this webinar. I'll give an intro to UCC Alberta, what we do, and our skills development series. Then Rory will take you into the workshop and talk to you about Google Suite. And then we'll come back together at the end for a question and answer period. So the Ukrainian Canadian Congress Alberta Provincial Council is an umbrella organization representing all Ukrainian Canadians in Alberta. We coordinate cultural and educational activities. We encourage youth to participate in social and cultural community life. We also foster unity, cohesion, and cooperation among Ukrainian organizations and provide encourage linkages with Ukraine. So our skills development series was really part of our pandemic response. We wanted to be there for people who might be struggling to find employment, who may have been laid off, who may be in a job transition, things like that. We know that there's a large sector of the community that's going through that right now. So there are two parts to our skills development series. The first is post-secondary information webinars. So these were webinars that we've done, and we have one coming up in January. And it's just to give people kind of idea of what's out there in terms of short post-secondary programs that they can use to build on their existing skills and be successful in the job market today. So just to gain some additional skills to help them on their way. As I said, we have one coming up in January, and we already had one, and that one is up on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. The other part of our skills development series is the computer skills workshops. So this Google Suite one is included in that. We've also done Intro to Computers, Intro to Microsoft Word, and Intro to Microsoft Excel. And again, all of those can be found on our YouTube page as well as our Facebook page. Yeah, we really wanted to put this out there because we think now more than ever, computer skills and digital literacy is very important and a key skill to being successful and finding a job. We also have another webinar that's coming up in January. It's our employment rights webinar on January 20th. You could follow us on Facebook or send us an email at info@uccab.ca if you'd like to attend that. Yeah, so with that being said, if you're watching this recorded, you can also send us an email or send us a message on Facebook or anything with any questions you may have about this or about any of our upcoming series or past videos. So with that, I will hand it over to Rory.
You can see me? I'm going to assume that's a yes.
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hello, I'm Rory. She already introduced me. Community officer, UCC. Second last day of work, actually. Last webinar, most likely. Before I get into the Google Suite / G Suite / it's now called Google Workplace. They just changed that name in October 2020. Now it's December 12th. No, December 10th. Oh my goodness. The days are flying. But yeah, before we get into that, I just want to explain cloud and cloud computing in case you're wondering how certain functions are going to work later on. I just Googled a picture just for like simpler explanation. So the cloud or cloud computing in a simple explanation refers to the fact that the storage for your data and information isn't confined to a single computer, but rather it's stored through servers that allow it to be accessed via the internet at all times. Generally, large clouds, like larger clouds predominant today, often have functions distributed over multiple locations from central servers. Think of how you use social media, where if you're on a phone, it doesn't go mobile. If when you're on a phone, you just download like an app, right? But that's like just the face of the social media page itself. I kind of didn't want to use names, but whatever. I'm just gonna use. It's gonna be simpler. Facebook. When you download Facebook on your phone, you just use an app. But do you have all the data from Facebook on your phone? No, right? Because that'd be a ridiculous amount of data. You would be able to hold it. It'd be millions of terabytes, if anything. No. So what you just do is you log in, and then you become engrossed within the cloud of Facebook. A similar example would be streaming services. Like I'll use names again, just because, like Netflix, whatever the heck the Amazon one's called. I don't think it's Amazon Prime. I think that's something else. But whatever Amazon streaming services, those are cloud computing examples. So if you use computers in the late 90s, early 2000s, like the rest of us, we would download songs and download videos, and it would take a couple of hours, right? But how come you don't have to do that anymore? Well, obviously, if you've noticed that you don't have access to Facebook, you don't have access to Netflix, you don't have access to um, Spotify or Apple Music unless you have internet. Because rather than you having to download things physically on your phone where you can listen to it offline, you're just streaming it using the internet. That's cloud computing in a nutshell. Uh, yeah, and that's why it also doesn't take you hours to download a single song or a single video. Yeah, so let's get into what this means. Oh, I have a little thing that drops down because I'm recording. So let's get into what this means with the Google Suite, or Google Workplace as I'm going to call it the Suite throughout the video, just because I know it as a Google Suite instead of even like saying G Suite. It's just easier for me. But all the applications and programs I'm going to show you today, all these are on a cloud. So it'll be more relevant when I get into doc sheets, slides, even calendar. But like it's all saved on a cloud whenever you pretty much do anything. Like even if I go click compose, just to make it F, I close out. You saw I never did save anything. It saved a draft. If I exited out of my browser right now, if I turned off my internet Wi-Fi router, it would be there. That's the cloud. But it's not physically on my computer itself. Like if you had, since we did virtual Microsoft Word or something like that, you download those. Those are not on a cloud. You can use a cloud access with them, but those are downloaded on the computer. Regardless, let's get to actually what I'm here to do. I'm going to delete that draft because I like to keep my email clean. And I'm sure some people who already use, where's my delete button? I guess it's just that. Yeah. Yeah, so this is Gmail. You can see it by the giant Gmail there. Gmail is an internet-based email service. It has over 1 billion active consumers worldwide. It's become more popular for the past decade or so for giving users large amounts of data. So I'm barely using anything. I'm using 500 megabytes, so 1% of my data. Yeah, so large amounts of storage space, and for having threaded conversations and great search tools. So an example of a thread, I did this. This is Emma. I sent her an email. Example of a thread. Example of a thread. So it just shows all the past emails back and forth, so that like I sent this email several hours ago, 7 hours ago. She replied 6 hours ago, and then I replied 2 minutes later, just to show an example of a thread. We're not all emails will look like that. Yeah, Gmail is also synchronized. It has compatibility synchronized with Microsoft Outlook. I'll get into that a bit more later. But if you already use a Hotmail address or an Outlook address, they've changed that over the years. You can actually incorporate that with Gmail, and I'll touch on that later. And then there's support for add-ons that integrate third-party apps. If you don't know what that is, that's going to take a bit more digging because I don't have the time to explain that. Yeah, so the first thing I might as well do, okay, we're here. We'll do email first. So Google Mail, pretty explanatory. If you do compose, you can send an email to somebody if you know someone's email address. Emma's, just for example, this gives me like all the emails I've typed in before. Info, UCC, that's Emma. And that's, I think, the main email for the UCC whenever you try to email the UCC. My particular email, you can't see it on this screen. If I go to here, it shows me my email there. And then that's my personal email. Please don't send me anything. It just happens to be there because I can switch between accounts. So yeah, that's a quick, I don't actually want to show you the emails, but that would have opened up a separate window of my particular Gmail that I have linked with this. But if you have a Hotmail account or an Outlook, as they now call it, which is actually my icon down here on the screen, I could actually incorporate that into my G Suite by add another account, and it would be incorporated. But it wouldn't actually be incorporated with the G Suite. That's complicated explanations, or like Gmail itself is a free app, but G Suite is actually referring to applications utilized by companies and organizations that you actually have to pay for. But Gmail is free. I'm pretty sure Docs, Sheets, and Slides are free. Calendar's free. Well, don't quote me on that. I'm just going off memory. So, anyways, and I'm trying to think of like what I want to do next. You can organize all your emails. These are like folders. So I made a folder for drafts. This is an automatically folder. I made a little tab for everything before I joined the company. I put stuff in there, Zoom invites, etc., etc. Pretty basic stuff. Yeah, they're all free. Emma just texted me. Thanks, Emma. You're great. Same with contacts. Yeah, so that's how we email. You can search your mail through there, basic stuff. But let's go to the side panel, because the side panel is what I want to really focus on next. So Keep that's for notes. That's more of if you already have your company integrated with the Google Suite, then you would use Keep if you wanted to make notes and stuff, but it's more calendar I want to get to. So calendar is essentially what you think it is. It's a digital calendar, but you can add things to it, and you can have it send reminders to you via email. I mean, I think you could even do text, but the whole point is you can just go to a calendar, see what you have in there. Let's go to today. Let me make something new. What am I trying to do? What am I going on my head? There we go. Find a time. I could add a title. Do this webinar. 6:30 to 7:30. Find the time. I can add guests, so I could add emails. I can send emails to people asking if they want to invite me. I'll show you an example right here that I got Emma to send me. This is who I'm setting event colors. You can do a whole bunch of things. Add room. That's a function where you have people in a particular group in a room. Google Meet conference. I'll do an example of that here in a second. There's too many things to do with Google Suite that I'm going to be all over the place, and I kind of apologize. So I have that 6:30 to 7:30. So if I do that, it'll save right there. But that's not even what I need to do. But what I could do is I could extend it manually right there. I could shorten it. I do believe I could have put it right there just in case I wanted a history. What I could also do is edit it again, and I don't want it to be a specific time. I wanted it to be an all-day thing, like a holiday. Doing the webinars all day, it puts it at the top. So if I go to my calendar, I don't quite remember how to view the thing. I think it was, yeah, I just wanted to see another example. So apparently this is a holiday. This is actually, so you see how this is hollowed out, this color? This actually refers to the fact that I have an invitation, but I haven't accepted it yet. And that's important because she doesn't know if I'm going or not, because it'll show this on her calendar as well. But I mean, I might as well do this now. So you can I showed you the previous screen. You can send invites to other people, and it's going to look like this when you show up on other people's screens, the email, what it's going to look like. If I choose yes, I've noticed this earlier that it doesn't fill it out. Yeah, see, it takes it a couple seconds, but it's blue. If I put no, we'll just wait. Looks like we're gonna wait a bit. I know I said it earlier. It's a bit of a lag. I don't know if that's like whatever, but it does eventually. Yeah, there we go. It just takes a while, and then maybe something else, and then yes.
Hey, Rory, I think we have a question. Someone put their hand up.
Oh,
Um,
actually watching.
if yeah, if you want to put your question in the chat box, Q&A box or chat box, they're both at the bottom of the screen. If you just click on one of those and type in your question, um, if whoever put their hand up has a question.
So I gotta figure out how to open up back to that screen. Where do I do that? Just tell me what the question is, because I'm in screen recording. It's not giving me the proper option unless I stop my screen recording.
Okay, I'll read the question out if any of them come through the Q&A box. So again, if anyone has a question throughout this, there will be a point at the end of the webinar for a question and answer period to ask Rory anything. But if it relates to something he's doing specifically and you want to ask it during the webinar, put it at the bottom of your screen into the Q&A box or the chat box.
So are we doing it later then? Just clarifying. I'm assuming.
There's no question in the box right now. Someone just has their hand up, but once they put the question into the box, I'll read it out for you.
Okay. I'll continue with what I was doing.
Okay.
Where was I? Yeah. So that's a holiday. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So like even after I said yes, I'm pretty sure nothing is bad if I delete that. It still shows up there. I just deleted the email. Cool. All done. Skis. Yeah, so like let me do just a quick descriptor of calendar now, just because it's an online calendar intended to help keep track of time and schedules. It integrates with Gmail for users, so as we saw, to easily, add events from email messages directly to the calendar. As part of Google Workspace, or the Google Suite, as I say, Google Calendar comes with additional features designed for business use, including smart scheduling of meetings, where the calendar application, it'll actually try and find available times and appropriate locations based on the coworker schedule. So if you're working with a coworker, obviously like Emma, say Emma had like a full calendar and I had a full calendar, it would automatically, I've never used this before, but I do know it can suggest particular times where they have nothing and I have nothing. And if we start putting our locations in the application as well, here, I'll see if I can find my trash invitation. So it doesn't say where, but you can have the where option in here, and that'll actually help out if you want to do stuff like that. So if you have a business and you think that would benefit you, then you might well consider that. Yeah, so you can make public calendars. This is obviously a private calendar, but you can make public calendars for consumers to see a business upcoming events. Actually, I know the UCC has this incorporated on their page. Heck, let's look at it. UCC Provincial Council. So this is an example. I don't need to. This is an example where this is probably integrated with a similar function, a calendar. Someone from one of our organizations, whether on our umbrella or that are related to the Ukrainian Canadian Congress, they can uplink their stuff and it'll automatically put into a calendar. I don't know if you particularly use the G Suite calendar, but as an example, they can do that and it would show up here just because we have that functionality. Yeah, I just want to show that really quick. It obviously integrates with Google Sites. I'll talk about later, just really quick. And then it has easy migration from Exchange, Outlook, or iCal, so you can use this with other email accounts, like I said before. And then the ability to see what meeting rooms and shared resources are available. So if you have a large organization, you can see what other people are doing. And let's just go to a quick meeting. So I have Emma hooked up here. She probably just perked up because she heard her voice there. yeah, so I sent her, if I want to do a meeting with somebody, I can do it that way, send invite. This is what I did when I did new meeting. I send an invite to her. Sorry, this is actually different. That was a hangout. So I sent a hangout invite to the UCC info. So that's all I did. I just that, and then it would send her an invite to accept this. She accepted it. Demo. You can tell I just did that this morning. But what new meeting is actually, this is like we're talking on video right now using Zoom, but you could actually do this kind of thing through Google Meets. So if you're working in the company and you just want to have a quick video chat, I can do it that way. I think I'm doing this wrong. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, that's what, okay. The way I did it is backward. What I meant to do was just do this. I'm sorry. I could just do share a new video call. There, that's what I meant to do. Because that'll put the hyperlink in, where that one she'd have to copy and paste that. This one's easier. And then I can just Google Meet and it's going to bring me up right away. So here. So hi, this is what I look like. I can mute myself. I can change my camera off. So this is a basic video setup. So I haven't joined yet. It says no one else is here. So obviously Emma hasn't hit the link. So that's the nice thing about Google Suite is it tells you what the other members of the organization are doing. If you're in a company, because that's what G Suite or Google Workplace is designed for, if I have a presentation on docs, slides, or sheets, I can directly present it. This will give me more options, but I don't want to click on this because it'll just take me too long. I am going to exit out of this. Yeah, and then I could just type, hey Emma. This is, if you ever use Facebook or other social media, there's always like those chat things. That's what this is for. So hey Emma, what's up? So rather than sending an email, this will just pop up on her screen, either if she has it minimized like this. Say she's typing, it'll be in your Hangouts thing. So this is one for our office. That's one she's replying to. She didn't answer the question. I asked her what's up and she says, hi, Rory. The nerve. Yeah, that's a Hangout quick. So what else do I have to do? I'll give you the formal explanation. Google Chat is a communication software developed by Google, built for teams that provides direct messages and team chat rooms along with a group messaging function. So that's the group messaging function. If I particularly wanted to go to the application itself, Hangouts and chats are correlated pretty heavily. See, like it shows up right there. So instead of having that small little thing, I find it it's a little goofy because this is called chat, but on there it's called Hangout. So yeah, that's gonna confuse people for sure. It has confused Emma. I heard her say it earlier. She didn't know the difference. I'm calling her out. But that's particular. There's a definition for rooms right there, where team magic happens. Find or create a room using the filter box above. So you can make specific rooms, and I think it just holds onto history longer. But this is a relatively shorter webinar than a full, thorough investigation to everything about Google Suite. Yeah, but the group messaging thing, like if I go directly on the chat, it does work. It allows like the Google Drive content sharing. I'm going to go to Google Drive in about 30 seconds here. Google Drive content sharing, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. And before I go to Drive, I'm going to explain why Drive is necessary. So if you make an email, a lot of the times you try to send something to someone, I don't really need to go in particulars, but if you try and connect an attached file, so when you go to attached file, a lot of the times you want to send something that's too large for an email just because of how email is designed. And it says this file is too large. I'm sure somewhere you've seen that before if you actually use computers. That's why we have Drive. So this tells you right there, attach files. But if you insert files using Drive, so Drive, I'm going to show you, I might as well show you how to get there. Drive is part of the Google Suite, and it actually is a storage thing. So if I click on that, it'll take me to Drive, but it's going to take me to a above folder. Like it'll take me to my Drive, but I'm going to just go to shared drives. But Drive holds on to, it's a large storage space. So I only have 30 gigabytes for my thing in particular, but you can obviously buy upgraded versions where you have unlimited, a terabyte. Like, I don't remember the particular pricing thing, but yeah, okay. So there's my drive. This is all my stuff. This isn't shared with people, or it can be shared with people, but it's particularly my drive. This is shared drive. So these, you can see right here, it tells me who are on it, not particularly by name. I think I can view members, but I made a demo drive, of course. And so I didn't even know if I started a new drive or shared drives, but I said I wanted to make a new drive, new shared drive. I made this one, and then I added members when I went to do it. And I added Emma. And because I'm the creator, I'm manager, I can manage content, people, and settings. And then I gave her content manager so she can add, edit, move, and delete, but she can't manage people or settings. If you're like, say, if you're in an educational system, like you're a teacher and you have a bunch of kids, but you don't want them to mess with your material, just a very simple explanation, I could make her a viewer. And so she wouldn't be able to do anything other than read what I have. She wouldn't be able to enter documents and change anything, couldn't add files to a drive, couldn't delete files, et cetera, et cetera. But I trust her, so I'm going to make her a content manager. Obviously, I can add people, I can add entire groups. That's a me thing. And so these are just folders, if essentially. So if I click on that, I can make this is just a quick pop-up of what I have in here. I could make a whole folder. I mean, think of it like any other Windows file viewer thing where I can make a folder and I could say a new folder specifically for sheets. Why not? And obviously you'll get used to what the icons are. Like that's a doc sheet, that's a slide, that's a sheet. I should have said that's just a doc. Doc, slide, sheet. I don't remember what it's called. What's it called? If I hold it there, usually it tells me. Please tell me. Form. That's what it's called. Form. And I can put on a folder. Oh yeah, and there is a permissions thing. I'm gonna get that again later. I'm jumping around way too much. It's a pain. Right. So Google Drive is let's do the formal explanation rather than just me trying to explain it. It's a file storage and synchronization service. Described Drive. Google described it as a place where you can create, share, collaborate, and keep all of your stuff. With Google Drive, users can upload any type of file to the cloud. So the Google Drive is a great example of a cloud where I'm having a folder where Emma can put stuff on it, I can put stuff on it, and as long as we have the login password and stuff for the G Suite, so the same thing you use for getting an email, this is all connected. I can turn off this laptop. I can log in. I could give my, I don't want to say that. I could log into my phone and I could access all the information I'm using on my laptop here. Yeah, so you can upload any file to the cloud, share them with others, access them from any computer, tablet, or smartphone. And as part of the Google Workspace, Google Drive comes with additional features designed for business use, including either, here it is, 30 gigabyte, 2 terabyte, 5 terabyte storage per user. So per user, not per organization. Like I have 30 gigabytes, Emma would have her own separate 30 gigabytes, Yulia, et cetera, or unlimited data storage. There are advanced admin controls. So I don't particularly have admin controls. I am a user underneath the admin, which I'm pretty sure is Yulia. And then there's audit and reporting insights for Drive content and sharing depending on the plan. So that's more out of my purview for what I have permissions to do. So let's get into, I'm gonna pull this out. I am going to put you back in there. Yes. It's gonna show you that almost every single time. You just get used to it. I am going to delete this folder. I do not need it. Yeah, so Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides are a word processor, a spreadsheet, and a presentation program. The words, I don't even know if I can move that out. Well, whatever, I said it. They all serve as collaborative software that allow users to view and edit documents, spreadsheets, and presentations together in real time. So what that means is if I change something here, Emma, can you just do me a favor? Can you actually enter into this file? Because I just want people to see you pop up. So it shows me that's my icon. But if I see Emma pop in here, I'll give her a couple seconds to do that. But as I keep talking, together in real. So what I said, you can view it in real time through a web browser or mobile device. Changes are saved automatically, and that's the important thing about like cloud-based software like this, because there's revision history, like that keeps track of changes and such. Let's see if Emma is in there. So this is cool. Emma is in there right now. She heard me and she has answered the call, and actually tells me. So if I actually make a new slide, says I'm on this slide, it tells me that what she's looking at. So this is all live time. Emma's looking at this. I'm looking at this. On her screen, she probably sees C in here. But I can actually, if I want to. So Emma and I are both working on this project. And say she's doing that. And I'm like, cool. So remember that chat thing we did before? Oh, that's not the feature I wanted to. Oh, yeah, actually, that kind of is. There's usually a little sidebar that pops up this way. What am I trying to do here? Okay, I'd have to play around with it. I think usually there's a little chat thing here. I'm not gonna try. Oh, it's right there. What am I doing? Hey Emma, I don't like what you're doing on slide 2. So if you're working with somebody on the same project and you're on the same document, we're seeing each other's changes live. That we both have this chat box that I just, yeah, see, look at that. It's cool. So you're working more collaboratively with somebody on the same project in life, and that's cool because I think it's cool. I like that kind of thing. And so I'm gonna exit out of this now. She'll still be on there. She'll still be working on it, and I will actually see. Let's show you something else. View details. So actually, before I even do that, like this is the problem. I can jump all over the place trying to show cool things. It tells me last modified, so who last changed things. And so I had Emma do the one. Obviously, she's on there right now. She changed 7634, but she changed something yesterday, where I was the last one to change this. 11:38 a.m., 11:39. I can get more info. So this is more important if you're actually like doing something together. Like when I was at university, I would do this more often. Or whatever, view details. You can actually find out a whole bunch of things. So this actually shows me a preview and activity. So edited an item, I created an item. So we just did a bunch of stuff here. Yeah, so I didn't even have to right click there. Edited yesterday. It tells you a whole bunch of things. So if you're in a company, you can actually time track people. That seems a little bit too excessive, if you ask me. But hey, if you want to know who last edited something and they might have deleted something, you can always find back from them. So let's go through what all these are really quick. Forms is, I mean, I did all webinars on them, so it's like Microsoft Word, a lot of the same format. But like I said, it's all lifetime saved, history tracking, stuff like that. So I just had this. Am I going to hit save? No, because you know why? There is no save function. It's already saved. I could exit off my whole computer. I could throw my computer off the bridge, but it's on a cloud. So the cloud already saved it. And that's the cool thing about having cloud-based software. Yeah, let's go to slides. So let's see what Emma did while I was gone. Nothing. Typical. She wanted. I bet you she's running. Yeah. So, I should explain what slides was. I'm sorry. So, if you've ever used Microsoft PowerPoint, same basic concept. Remember that chat option I showed before? So let's click. Why isn't it there? Let's go to. Come on. So if I did that chat thing and then I wanted to make a video, where is the video thing? I'm not used to using this one. I'm using that small function. But okay, I did a video meeting. I'll just do this really quick just because. If I went to present, it could ask me to do so I could go straight to that. So, I'm sharing my screen. I could share this as a fine example. I am now going to exit out of this because I'm jumping around the place too much again. I have this annoying thing right here that says you are screen sharing, and it pops down every time I go right over top of it. What's this? Oh, that was the drive colors were over top of it, indicating I was through the drive. Yeah, so that's Microsoft PowerPoint similarity, but it's on the drive. There's cloud-based software on the drive. Sheets is a lot like Microsoft Excel, same functionality. I could change something and save real time. I don't need to show that again. This is wasting time. And then this is, I always forget what the heck this is called. It's not called polls. It's forms. Nope. Gosh darn it. Now I got to go back. Is it forms? It is forms. So yeah, forms. This was the basic thing it gave me. Obviously, I changed all the words for myself. That's the title. That so you can send polls to everyone. This is free with the G Suite, or it's a free application. So that's pretty cool. You can make check boxes. I can make this multiple choice. Do you think this should be multiple choice? I would say it should be check boxes. Pretty much all of the above. Well, maybe not Emma here because she forced me to do this webinar, but she can't speak right now, so she can't defend herself, and I'm fine with that. Yeah, and then it showed me last modified. Yeah, so cool. That's the basic things that most people would access while using the drive. Obviously, you can upload files. So like if you want pictures and stuff like that, you can make folders and stuff. It's no different than like my normal. I'll just hover over it. Oh, I thought it would show words here, but like this is my file explorer. It's not really much different except for the file explorer here isn't on a cloud. This is particular to my computer. So no one else can access this unless I was to somehow link the internet through the internet that someone could access this. There are ways, but generally don't do that. Where this is all on a private drive, but it's not private to me because since I am on the Google Workplace, my boss has access to everything I have access to because that's how an administrator works naturally. Let's just touch on here. I like this screen. This is my basic home screen. Let's just look at stuff. So Google Sites is a creation tool that allows multiple people to create and edit websites without requiring coding knowledge or other web design skills. Obviously, that would require way too much meticulous explanation to go into further than that. But if you want to get into creating websites, this is what you would use. Google Currents. Yeah, I'm not going to go into Google Currents. It's more for business integration. So that's out of the purview of this particular webinar. Google Keep. Where is it? I mean, it's right there, but I know it's also right there. It's kind of like a note-taking thing. So, like you can, it's think of it like a notes program. that's what I'm going to say. It's a note-taking service with a variety of tools for notes, including text, lists, voices, and images. I've never particularly used it. Oh, cool. They're getting back to me now. I am going to. I kind of want to read it right now. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So, and then what's Google Vault? Yes, I should touch on Google Vault. I'm getting distracted in this. Out of all the videos, webinars I've done, this is the most distracting one I've had. Where is Vault? You can clean this up a bit too if you don't like all these icons here. You would do that through settings. But I'm here on a contract, so I don't need to. There it is, the Vault. Vault's actually pretty cool if you're in a business. It's an archiving and electronic discovery service exclusively available to the Google Workspace customers. Vault gives users an easy to use and cost-effective solution for managing information critical to your business and preserving important data. By saving and managing Gmail messages and chat logs with the ability to search and manage data based on filters such as terms, dates, senders, recipients, and labels. So think of it as like you could put all your information in Vault and search through things there. So I I'm hoping you got a base idea what that is. Obviously, if you really want to know what it is, you got to go more thoroughly into it. But like, if you have important documents that you need to archive, like say you're a legal firm and you want to keep legal documents throughout the years, but you don't want to have it in like little tabs, like I have everything here. I'm pretty sure that's what you would use Google Vaults for, but I'm not a legal firm, so don't quote me on that. Yeah, I'm almost done here. So yeah, the difference between the Google Suite and free Google Apps. So I've mostly showed you free Google Apps. Vault is not a free one. I don't think Keep is either. Calendar is free. I think everything, all this stuff might be free, and then below the line isn't free. No, that can't be true because YouTube's there and Maps are there. Yeah, no, never mind. Ignore that last part. Yeah, so the G Suite, the main difference between I'd say Google Suite, sorry, Google Workplace and the free apps is the most important thing, and I'm sure all of you have asked yourself at one point or another, how do I get UCC-APC.ca? Why doesn't it say Gmail like everyone else does? How come I have ualberta.ca like my personal email account? That you get through buying the G Suite. So a cool function about when you buy the G Suite is if you have a domain name already, like you can't just like make it whatever you want. You actually have to have your own personal domain. One of the things you can do is actually just change it to the end of your email address. So obviously, community uccab.ca. Why do we have that? Because that's what our domain is, uccab.ca. So since we own that domain, Google allows us, because we have Google Suite, to actually change the end of our email address to that. You cannot do that on the free account. On the free account, you will naturally get gmail.com or gmail.ca. I've never explored why. I'm assuming just because you're in Canada, they automatically give you .ca, but maybe .com is a standard and you have to change that. I haven't looked into that. Yeah, obviously with G Suite, you get actually an admin console along the end here. So what can administration do? They can do a lot actually. So if you have a company, you're the administrator. So let's take me as an example. Say community was particular to me. It's not. They'll use this after I'm gone. They used it before I was here. That's why I have this tab. I took everything and just put it in there. If I leave the company, but say I had a particular email address, it was rory.s@ucclba.ca. The administrator can delete that or can change my permissions. So even for example, I can access currently this email. This isn't even a work computer I'm on. This is my personal laptop. What Yulia could do is she could limit the access of this email particular only to work computers. So I don't want to get into the science of that, but she could limit to that. She could limit to no mobile devices. She could limit to only mobile devices. One particular thing I know for our account is when I tried to access the drive for a particular project I had, I don't have a password on my phone. But in order for me to access the community, while the drive I have associated with this account on my phone, it prompted me that in order to access it, I needed to put a password on my phone. So if you have a company and you want to limit how much access your employees have outside of the workspace, that's one of the things you could do is you could give them no permission to use it on their access email on their personal laptops, no permission to access this on their phones. You could do a whole bunch of things, but that only comes with the Google Suite, obviously. You can actually change emails to be received through Outlook. So that's my Outlook icon because I have Hotmail way before Google Mail even existed. You can, if you have a company that's already integrated with the Outlook suite, I don't know what to say there with Outlook, you can integrate it with the Gmail app. So it's not like you have to have a Gmail account to use the suite. You can actually integrate Outlook with it. And even if you have everything Outlook, but you want to switch everything over, you can connect. You can actually do that. You can. What's the term I'm looking for? Data migration. You can do a data migration of all your Outlook email to there, and I'm pretty sure I'm positive you can actually make it so when people send emails to your Outlook address, your old one, it'll automatically connect to your new Google address. Yeah, so I think I've said everything necessary. Just a little in case you're worried, because Google seems to have access to so much information. I did find a little excerpt here for those of you who were uh, feeling cautious. Google states that we do not collect, scan, or use your G Suite data for advertising purposes, so they do not. And they do not display ads in G Suite Education or Government. So you'll notice I have no ads here. So they do not have ads in G Suite Education or Government Core Services. Furthermore, they state that the data that companies, schools, and government agencies put into our G Suite services do not belong to Google, whether it's corporate intellectual property, personal information, or a homework assignment. Google does not own that data, and Google does not sell that data to third parties. So everything you do here, Google does not give it to third parties for advertising purposes or anything. So you're safer using this than you are Facebook, because Facebook sells your information to third party people. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm done here. I think Emma can come up here. I mean, I could go into contacts and stuff. That's pretty self-explanatory. Some of these things are more self-explanatory than others. I'm not going to touch on that. There was one thing. Classroom is something you'd use if you were in school, or this was like, I mean, during current COVID, helps communicate, save time, stay organized. This is something more for if you are actually doing it, but I don't think for the purposes of the webinar, it's super necessary, but look into this more, Google it if you want to learn more. Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing now.
Okay, thanks so much, Rory. Hopefully all our participants learned something new. So now we'll open up the floor to questions. Again, if you have a question, just put it in at the bottom of your screen. On the bar, there should be a Q&A box as well as a chat box. You can put your questions in either one of those. So while we're waiting to see if there are any questions, I'll just remind people, if you're watching this not live, if you're watching this as a recorded version, feel free to put your questions also in the comment section. So if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, comment your question, or you can also email us your question at info@uccab.ca. If you send us an email, we'll get back to you answering your question on the content of this webinar, or we can point you in the direction of more resources to learn more about Google Suite. We also want to hear your feedback. So if you want another webinar on just Google Docs or just Google Sheets, or go into more detail about Gmail, any of those things, send us an email or send us a message on Facebook. We really would love to hear from you and love to hear what you're liking about these, what you're not liking, and what you want to see more of in the new year. We really want these to be as valuable as they can be for the community. Yeah, so you can also sign up for our e-bulletin. We send it out every 2 weeks. That will also keep you in the loop for our upcoming webinars and anything else that we're doing. As I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we're doing a webinar on January 20th on employee rights in the workplace, which is a good thing to know for everyone. We're also going to be doing another post-secondary information webinar. So if you'd like to know more about short post-secondary programs that are offered in Alberta, we'll be talking to a few colleges and they'll be presenting, and you'll have the chance to ask questions. Yeah, so that will be in January. Stay tuned for the date of that. I'm just looking if there's any questions. There doesn't seem to be any right now. Again, if you're watching this live, you can put your questions in the Q&A box or the chat box at the bottom of your screen. I know Rory typed something in the chat box, so hopefully that popped up. Again, this webinar is being recorded, so we'll be posting it on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. And we'll also be sending it out to anyone. We'll be sending out the link to the YouTube one to anyone who signed up for this webinar. So you can rewatch this, practice with it, go through it. And even if you go through it and have questions after that, send them to us and we'll be happy to answer them for you. So I'll just give it another 30 seconds or another minute to see if anyone's just typing. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, just let me pop up here. Like I said at the beginning of this webinar, we have done a lot of these videos on intro to computers, intro to Microsoft Word, intro to Excel, and then now it's intro to Google Suite, which was recorded. So those are all available on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. So you can go through those as well if you want a more basic introduction to computers and then to go into the Google Suite. It doesn't look like we have any questions. But like I've mentioned, okay, so we got a question saying this seemed to be aimed at those who have some experience with Google Suites. Will there be more of an intro level? We could definitely review our material and go to a more basic level and offer that in the new year. So thank you very much for that feedback. We'll definitely take that into consideration. And I know Rory touched on certain things that were more aimed at businesses and companies, but maybe we could do one more focused on individuals and how you can start your own Google account. I'm not sure if something like that would be, if that would be more helpful if you want to start from scratch and show how to set up an account or how to take your existing email and create a Google account out of that. Stuff like that. That's what we could also do to kind of go from the beginning. We can also share some more resources to kind of explain Google Suites. I'm not sure if it was kind of grasping the concept of what Google Suite is, because it is quite a lot of different things. And there's so many different programs and functions that fall under Google Suites. But a lot of people mainly are focused on, you know, email and the documents and sheets side of things. And I see Rory commented on the question here saying, is there any particular part of this presentation you want more elaboration on? And okay, I see we have a response. So yeah, again, you can watch this recording again and then go from there and see what questions you have. And definitely send them to us, info@uccab.ca, or message us on Facebook, or even you can give our office a call for the next week. I know we'll be out at the end of the month for holiday break, but then we'll be back in starting in January. So definitely. Oh, sorry.
I just want to say something quick. I didn't really elaborate on sheets or docs too much, but if you really want a basic explanation of what they are, if you look at our webinar on WordPerfect and Excel, they're more or less the same, except for you can't save documents. Well, you don't have to save documents with sheets or docs on the Google Suite. So I'm not on share screen anymore, but they're virtually the same programs, just different makers. Yeah, just thought I'd say that.
Yeah, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel are fairly similar to Google Docs and Sheets. But yeah, as Rory said, the main difference is you don't have to physically click a save button. It will automatically save your document for you. Yeah, okay. If there are no more questions, I think that will be it. Yeah, again, the recording will be shared so we can all go from there too. So thank you so much to everyone who attended. Have a good night.